Okay, last year, if you remember, the orange bastard dined with two real anti-Jewish American bastards, Kanye West and Nick Fuentes. And the three of these assholes got together at his Mar-a-Lago resort, you know, the winter palace for the orange bastard. And they drew some outrage while revealing to many Americans for the first time who this Nick Fuentes really is. He is a white supremacist. He's a Christian fascist. He's anti-LGBTQ. He's an anti-Semite. He is anti-anything democratic. He is an American Nazi. And he supports Trump's America First doctrine from top to bottom. Now, on Sunday, he does a live stream show titled The Great Replacement is About White Genocide. Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway, on that little piece of garbage, Fuentes called for the death penalty for non-Christians. You heard me right. This information was gathered for Right Wing Watch. Right Wing Watch reported this, quote, anti-Semitic white nationalist Christian fascist Nick Fuentes says that when his America First movement takes power, all non-Christians will be executed. All right, now let us allow for an awful lot of hyperbole, but in coming out of this garbage bastard's rat-infested mouth and brain, but this is how it starts. This is the kind of talk that gets put out there by social media, and people start talking about, I'm going to kill all the non-Christians. Not a bad idea. Anyway, Fuentes said this. This is what Right Wing Watch is reporting on. Quote, there is an occult element at the high levels of society, and specifically among the Jews. And you know, whenever I see that stuff, that just makes me want to proclaim louder and more firmly and more rigidly that it is nothing other than Jesus Christ. No pagan stuff, no false gods, no deities, no demons. It is Jesus Christ, and we need to start saying that name. End quote. Specifically among the Jews. And then he went on. There's more. Fuentes then said this. It's the name Jesus. Talk about it. Say it. Pray to him. Talk about the sacrifice on the cross. That's the answer. Because so many of the people that are perpetrating the lies and the destruction on the country, they are evildoers. They are people that worship false gods. They're people that practice magic or rituals or whatever. And more than anything, those people need to be, when we take power, they need to be given the death penalty. Straight up. And I'm far more concerned about that than I am even about non-white people or mass immigration. These people that are these people who are communing with demons and engaging in this sort of witchcraft and stuff, and these people that are suppressing the name Christ and suppressing Christianity, they must be absolutely annihilated when we take power. I'm not calling for political violence, but that cannot have any quarter in our society, end quote. Now, at the start of the segment, of course, this insane fucker talks about the occult, but he quickly turned his remarks to promoting a Nazi version he calls Christianity. He went on. This is what he said. Quote, we need to put up a crucifix in every home, in every room, in every school, in every government office to signal Christ's reign over our country. Not that God needs it, but it must be outwardly expressed from the interior that this is God's country. This is Jesus' country. This is not the domain of atheists or devil worshippers or perfidious Jews. This is Christ's country. You must be a Christian. and you must submit to Christianity, end quote. Perfidious Jews. You know, I've seen a lot of Jewish spokespeople lately. They've got a lot to deal with. The situation in Israel, the anti-Jewish attitude that is being promoted by people like Nick Fuentes in this country, the upset that I'm sure the Jews are feeling about these discussions on college campuses. There is a lot that our Jewish brothers and sisters have had to focus on. But I'm here to tell you, to the Jews I know, and the ones who may be listening to this podcast, if you really want to deal with the anti-Jewish attitude and terror that is beginning to build in this country, you need to start with Donald Trump and the slime around him, including this Christian murderer, Nick Fuentes. He wants to have Jews killed. Do you understand that? Whether you're Jew or Gentile or atheist or whatever the hell you are, do you understand, when these people talk about this shit, first they think about it, then they discuss it, then they talk about it, and then they do it. Now, we have enough history to know that that is the progression that these, in this case, the anti-Jewish crazy people, this is the progression they go through. They think it, they discuss it, they openly talk about it, and then they do it. There's not a Jew in America that needs to hear any advice from me, but I will offer this regardless. I'm reminding what the Protestant theologian Niemöller said about fascism in Germany. And, of course, I'll get it all garbled and misquote him. But the point the Reverend Niemöller was taking, he said, first they came from the liberals, and I'm not a liberal, so I didn't say anything. Then they came from the trade unionists. Well, I'm not a trade unionist, so I didn't say anything. Then they came for this group and that group. Then they came for the Jews, and I didn't say anything because I'm not a Jew. And then they came for me, and there was no one left to say anything about me. The point being, of course, that we cannot remain silent about what the head of the FBI has called the greatest terror threat in this country right now. It is these domestic terrorists, these Christian murderers, these people who would rip Jesus' head off and piss in his neck if they were given a chance. Because the Jesus that has been promoted by the Christians down through the centuries is not the Jesus that they want. They want a Jesus who will kill, slaughter, cut heads off, execute people, stab babies, stab women, and kill the Jews. Now, of course, Fuentes is such a dumb fuck. Does he think that Jesus was a Christian? Does he think that Jesus was a what? Hey, Nick, Jesus was a Jew, you dumb bastard. But see, these people don't care about that stuff. They don't care about historical accuracy or even religious accuracy. What they care about is what they are devoured by, the rats and worms and vermin inside them that is eating them alive and leaving them with this obscenity, this hatred for anything and everything that isn't like them. White, Christian, male, period. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. The Progressive Voices Network brings you commercial-free commentary from today's leading progressive radio hosts and pundits, like me, Mike Malloy, 24 hours a day. I'm not your typical old guy from the 80s or the 90s talk radio host, and Progressive Voices is not your typical talk radio network. It's a listener-supported nonprofit with no corporate control whatsoever over our broadcast. So hosts like me, Mike Malloy, are free to rant and scream and carry on about whatever we like. We're often controversial, but we're never boring. Weeknights, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West, on the Progressive Voices Network. Always progressive, always on. I'm Mike Malloy. Keep it lit.